So this is history, with all its pageantry, the times they'll read about. That's if we make it out. A time of noble knights, pursuit of noble heights, a fight for simple rights, the rights of all. A time when all are free, a time that's yet to be, both her and history. So this is history, dripping with villainy, the proud who laugh with scorn at all those lower born, who talk a pleasant game, who feel your pain they claim, but once they're out of frame, safely from view, where lies their sympathy? Ah, the economy, the scales of history. So this is history, opposed philosophy. It's always been the case, but not at such a pace, and now at our expense, and that of common sense. Science and faith commence their ancient brawl, and while they argue, we face fresh calamity, the tides of history. So this is history, abloom with poetry. If we just look about, a world looks back devout, a world that grows the things, exposes clothes of kings, a world that knows the things her pilgrims need, set upon by villainy, jousting with chivalry, inspiring poetry, her twin philosophy, the times we're living through, to see a world made new. So this is history. Man's lasting majesty, born of catastrophe, welcome to history. In the Decameron, 10 young Italians flee Florence to escape the plague, winding up in the country, passing their quarantined time telling each other story after story. After story, I mean, there's 100 of them. And there's Boccaccio's famous book. But we, in our time, face so many colliding currents of history, and each one just straining every nerve, as the old song says, seeking some sort of solution. And so, stranded here in my little room, in the spirit of Boccaccio, I shall keep a journal in song, a quarantine chronicle. So this is history. Journal entry number 1. Of course, the big cloud shadowing much of our present moment and has us all hovering indoors, or should. There, did I say that out loud? Is a cloud, or the cousin of a cloud, that has been wreaking havoc throughout history. Boccaccio's storytellers fled to the countryside in the 14th century. There's the tale of old California, Estancia and the captain, which I understand they still tell in the evening as the sun sets in the west. Where mission bells bless ocean swells, and swallows fly with seagulls, senoritas dance, where Spanish grants carve ranchos down the hills. Hear the sailors roar as ships make shore, picking up fresh hides and timber, where a padre calls by mission walls, yoked oxen till the fields. In a parlor room sings a daughter whom all the gentry call Estancia. Though polite and prim, when she thinks of him, she's perhaps less prim than seems. On a frigate's deck, trying not to wreck, stands a brave, distracted captain who is more demure when he thinks of her than his leathered face makes plain. Where the continent ends, a carriage wends down high cliffs to the shoreline, where hides are brought and goods are bought, and the captain comes ashore to take command and Estancia's hand as her father watches closely, though the old man grants an approving glance as the carriage takes her home. While it's left unsaid, on a day they'll wed, fair Estancia and the captain, coming home to rest where swallows nest. He'll go to sea no more, trading great salt swells for mission bells and farming fields so fertile. See the blue whales breach while padres preach of Christ and Christ's career. But free from the sea he was not to be, nor she from her haunted parlor. A contagion walked to the land and stalked to the mission beach and hills. So time suspends where a continent ends, and these lovers meet no more. She can't go to sea, and he can't come ashore. Though time suspends, love never ends, a love become folklore. She couldn't go to sea, and he couldn't come ashore. She couldn't go to sea, and he couldn't come ashore. And that's where we find ourselves once again, extremely unfamiliar territory in the 21st century. We're used to telling our pets, stay. Well, the dogs, cats. But now we too, the humans, are being told, stay, put. So it isn't just history straining every nerve. It's us, her historicals. I sit here gazing absent-mindedly around this room. Didn't that picture used to be over there? Or staring in the mirror? Ugh, that hair. I'm Jethro Tull. In 1654, Blaise Pascal made his always current observation: all of mankind's problems stem from his inability to sit quietly by himself in a room. Maybe I'll find something in this magazine. Maybe, no, I can't read a book. Showtime, Netflix, HBO, an hour or two. This is my protection, running from reflection. once I read, someone said, you can beat a drum till the people come, you can shout out loud, you can win the crowd's affection, but reflection is the name of the game. Every story I read in this magazine drops me someplace very far away. Showtime, Netflix, HBO, a binge or two. Action, action, action drives me to distraction. Crash, bang, whir, my chauffeur. Life is action-packed, make a move, react, let the games begin. Any game but introspection. Yet reflection is the name of the game. Mister, all your problems stem from just one ill. Madam, what's the problem? Oh, his inability to sit still. Damn it, now I'm finished with this magazine. Maybe, oh no, who can read a book? Hulu, Apple, Disney Plus, until the bill is due. Ask me where my brain went, lost to entertainment. I watch the news, so why these blues? We can spin the web till we're in the web. 7 billion shares, what the world declares perfection. But reflection is the name of the game. In my cathedral, the spires soar, though soar no higher than my desire. The walls just four, no more the candled shadows across the floor represent the workings of the world's lurkings, though the world's pain and pride remain outside where the mill is grinding and the sun is blinding. Here in my cathedral, my spirit soars. In my cathedral, the heart's engaged, the mind is quiet, the wheel stands by it, no battle staged nor waged, the silence brimming by music aged, though it sounds ironic. Silence is symphonic, and the words shout and sneer. Stay out of here with the incense rising. To the spires I sing. Here in my cathedral, this heart's engaged. My stained glass windows, cloth-bound and streaming light, stand well read on their shelves. In my cathedral, the spires soar, soar ever higher, rise and inspire. That's what they're for. There's more. The candle shadows across the floor happily remind me, though the world's entwined me, all its troubled plot and smear, live not in here where the will holds steadfast and my thoughts are leaped past. Here in my cathedral, a heart's at prayer. Journal entry number 4, in my cathedral. Inside, thoughts of eternity. Outside, the drums of history. A history that seems determined to live up to Winston Churchill's definitive definition of history: one damned thing after another. I find myself in these bottomless hours considering the oft-quoted Chinese curse, "May you live in interesting times," and wonder, where exactly are we? What exactly are you and I within these interesting times? Are we its witnesses? Are we its perpetrators? Are we? Yes, we are canaries in a coal mine. We're on a mission. We have a job. Darn, but it's dark here in the coal mine. We have no lantern. Our hearts are racing. Our temples throb. It's like a nightmare, a bloomin' nightmare. But we will do our job. We are canaries in a coal mine. Remember London? Now there was coal. 1952, gore bloody inside. The smog were thick like, our lungs was wick like, lost all control. It were a nightmare, a bloomin' nightmare. Them smokestacks took their toll. We are canaries in a coal mine. Along comes plumbing, in go the pipes. Pipes made of lead. Lead, what a gold mine. No need to test them. The bank assessed them. They had no gripes. Yipes, it's like a nightmare, a bloomin' nightmare. Drink deep and earn your stripes. Fly on canaries in a coal mine. Hello asbestos, goodbye to thatch. All through the walls, up to the roof line. It kept the heat in, it put the fires out. But there's a catch, it was a nightmare, a bloomin' nightmare. And with a dream to match. Canaries in in a coal mine. Another mission, another job. We're chasing COVID through the coal mine, although it's not clear who's chasing whom here. The angels sob, it's like a nightmare, a bloomin' nightmare. Observe that angry mob. Send a text, where to next? Canaries on the week to week, beak to beak. Canaries on the job. What has come swirling around my head? These phantom flags, these eyes bright red. Meanwhile, my exile of personal thought, plucking I love from you must and you ought. What is this hubbub outside my nest, wherein I test the immortal quest? Inside my own university, outside the drums of history. What is that swirling around your head? Such visions of dread, perhaps misread. Why, in amusing, unstructured hours, craves your heart to gift its powers? Here you pursue the immortal quest, though let me guess, you never guessed. Inside the struggle to be, just be, outside the dreams of history. What has come swirling around our heads that drives us from and to our beds? Spending whether they've crawled or flown, those hours alone that are ours alone. Just as our soul seems body-bound, or constant compass wild seas surround. Inside thoughts of eternity, outside the drums of history. Inside seeds of deeds to be, outside the drums of history. The birds in the morning are clever lads. Hey, sing ho, sing loudly, oh. A joy out my window begun begads at 6 o'clock in the morning, oh. Singing and winging from tree to tree, they shout from the branch, will you marry me? In fine feathered fiddle, the cast of glee at 6 o'clock in the morning, oh. The birds in the morning are singing their praise. Hey, sing ho, sing loudly, oh. They beckon the sun, and that bounder obeys at 6 o'clock in the morning, oh. Shaking the dewdrop from leaf to limb, afloat on the music that carries him, fraternally chirping with Tiny Tim. God bless us all in the morning, oh. The birds in the morning announce the day, sing high, sing low, sing hey, sing ho. If I must awaken, let this be the way. At 6 o'clock in the morning, oh, happy and healthy, or so they seem. Sing life is a many-feathered dream. The sun in the trees and a bird on each beam. At 6 o'clock in the morning, oh, hey, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, oh. There are mornings when the drums of history seems the least of my problems. Journal entry number 7, the birds in the damn morning. Can't they see what their featherless friends are going through? I mean, yes, we're all canaries in a coal mine, but fellows, the earlier we wake, the longer the day, the more hours we face. Which puts me in mind, as I huddle here in this room that swelters, of an ancient ritual from long ago. I seem to remember it. The weekend. After days of toiling beneath a scaffold shadow of obligation and responsibility, at last we were free to breathe an air of which the work weeks was only an imitation. No responsibilities, no obligations, no schedules. When such freedom was only occasional, we looked forward to it. My days consist of drafts and sums. I can't wait until Sunday comes, when I drop the mop, shut the shop. Sunday's here. 6 days a work week, time compacts into an urn of dried fern and facts. But when Sunday lands, time expands. Sunday's here. Sunday's the day for counting every blessing, calmly reassessing. Funny how last week looks now. Sunday's the day we simply ask all the questions it's time to ask, like, will my career disappear? Sunday's here. What's to stay? What go away? Who can say? Sunday's the time to think things through. What rings true? Do things, new things. Hark, I hear Monday's distant drum. Will I be larger than what's to come? And if time demands, change your plans. Can I change? Will I change? That's what your Sunday's for. Sunday's here. What's to stay? What go away? Who can say? You can say Sunday's when. Wait till then. Sunday's here. Journal entry number 8. Sunday's here. Good bartender's got to have some scotch, Good conductor's got to have his watch. People say, barkeep, a twist of lime. People say, conductor, sir, are we on time? Morning train for suddenly. Destination suddenly. All aboard for suddenly. Hello, Mr. Darwin, welcome aboard. Yes, sir, it's a beautiful day, thank the Lord. Up in observation, you can watch the rails. Keep the wheels a-rolling till we tip the scales. All aboard for suddenly. Morning train for suddenly. Destination suddenly. Pushing through the landscape, deserts and lakes. You can toot the whistle, we don't need those brakes. People say, conductor, are we getting close? I say, Mr. Traveler, nobody knows. One thing I can tell you, like the shoe that drops, every time we're near it, my watch stops. Racing into suddenly. Clear the tracks for suddenly. Whispers over supper in the dining car, laughing through the night in the coachman's bar. Sleepers in the sleepers, they're all coming awake. They can feel that railroad shimmy and shake. Massive vibration halts the conversation. Coming to the station, next stop suddenly. Suddenly's the most uncomfortable town. Everybody got their shades pulled down. Walk the streets and wonder who lives here. Who? Suddenly those shades flap up. It's you, citizens of suddenly. Welcome home to suddenly. Suddenly, it's suddenly. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. Please use caution while exiting the train. Get up in the morning, try to keep warm. Button up my railroad uniform. Cook my breakfast, make and take my lunch. Snap my cap, grab my ticket punch. Journal entry number 9. Suddenly, it's suddenly. A most uncomfortable town. Everybody's got their shades pulled down. Houses dark and shuttered, greetings rarely uttered, pantry full. And yet I'm starving. Madam, I could use a hug. Mister, could you spare a hug? Junior, come on in and bug me, slug me, hug me. Humans need our human touch. That's the way we're wired. Touch is the great connection. Sometimes it needs protection, so we apply correction. Keep your distance. Always in the background when the world comes back round. As words go, a strange one, hugs, but an act to change one. Hugs, reaching hands are like that old sign, gold mine, hold mine. Some will say it's just a crutch. I would say a circuit touch is so much magnetic. Shakespeare's not so poetic. Yoga's a mere cosmetic. Touch makes time stop. It begins with children, and we all are children. But on the other hand, one hears tales of too tight a togetherness, an out-of-control proximity. It's been said, proximity isn't everything, but it's close. The story of the quarantined wife calling downstairs to her equally quarantined husband, "Honey, do you ever get a sharp pain in your chest, like someone had your voodoo doll and was stabbing it with a long needle?" The husband, taken slightly aback, chuckles a bit before answering, "No." His wife calls back, "How about now?" Patience, the balm of patience, the calm of sailing with even keel. Waiting without the waiting. I know behind all the tick-tock, time's on its own clock. Patience stare out their windows for healing. Patience stares in those windows for healing. Someday I'm gonna be patient. Until then, count to 10. What, again? Patience, the trick of patience. How quickly patience can turn to impatience. The joy of patience, it's like a deep breath of fresh air. It lowers blood pressure. Patients are because they met a physician. Patience is the greatest metaphysician. Someday I will be patient, and I just can't wait. Patience. And to that end comes, when I have the wisdom to summon her, our better angel. How like a fellow on an evening stroll. That peace, spell that how you will, within each of us, unruffled by these roiling waters. A great teacher has said, God is very quiet, for there is no conflict in him. Journal entry number 12. Gentle soul, how like a fellow on an evening stroll, or like the rowboat in the children's dream, down the stream, gentle soul. Daisies fall into the waters, and the ripples crawl across the waters, but the stream flows on. Now they're gone, shadows all. Gentle soul, content and quiet on an evening stroll along the waters of an ancient stream. Dream your dream, sing my soul. And look, at the end of the tunnel, light, patience has triumphed. Opening my dim, dark door a crack, I cautiously venture forth from exile, where reflection was the name of the game, and begin to notice how awe-inspiring the simple things have become. Is this what this respite has been about? What a smile, I admit I've merely guessed, but in your eyes I imagine all the rest, and in their beams aren't we blessed by all it seems? What joy between the brows this light allows, and these eyes that impart the heart I feel survey the world that right now is all too real, connecting dots, and there's lots of dots. Your eyes reflect your reflections. Meanwhile, smile that smile, tiny wrinkles in the skin. Unlash a laugh, heaven twinkles from within. Your bang-swept brow bears a welcome in it now. Beneath your halo there, your halo hair, and those eyes that convey the way you feel. Take in the world which I see you wish to heal. Eyes laying light on the plight in their sight, applying love like an arrow, Cupid style, to lavish care, even prayer on despair. Rare these eyes that smile. Bright a pupil of life you seem to me. How bright these pupils that paint the world you see. Your gaze in truth could be age, it could be youth. If youth, then youth appears beyond its years. Such deep sight mints and coins your very thought. Thoughts are not private, now there's a scary thought. The atmosphere you've brought here makes that clear. And though your face be half hidden, yes? Oh, this aisle. I'll move my cart, stand apart, play it smart. Oh, my heart, these eyes that smile. Number 13, the market song. As the bewildered townspeople used to say of the Lone Ranger, who was that masked person? Well, Mr. Boccaccio, my baker's dozen, plus one, will be but a bauble to your 100, but it has kept me active in both heart and mind. And walking back, carefully distanced from the market, marveling afresh at all of the nature I've missed, I find myself pondering the notion, speaking of masks, the notion of the aspen grove. So many, sometimes thousands, of aspen trees that are, underneath the soil, all one unit, one entity. Though appearing separate above ground, beneath it they are all connected. And so, we are finding, are we. It's like we're all curls on the same head of hair in the midst of all this history. So this is history. And having passed some sort of median line, no going back now. So, to end the Chronicle, if not the quarantine, the final journal entry, number 14. A nod to old Thomas Wolfe, who seems to have summed up our situation, our whole world, in one simple phrase. You can't go home again. You can't go home again. Oh yes, the roads exist, but they trail off in mist. You can't go home again, but life was happier then. Once upon a... when? You can't go back to the past, so turn your back to the past. We see the past parade cast its last glimpse of shade, where on the banks of the stream I watch the waters and dream that it's the same old stream. It ain't the same old stream. You can't go home again. You can't go home again. The world has traveled on. The world has been here and gone. We seek the comforts of time, but man, it turns on a dime. We will remember where we've been. I want to go home again. Why can't I go home again? It's like the perfect cure. Go back to where we were. But all my thinking, alas, is just a blast from the past. Enough of where I'm from. Tune me to what's to come. You can't go home again. chickens counted, all these eggs unhatched. Time is in sections to different directions. That house and this tree are now part of history. Useless appealings, time has no feelings. Bridges are burning, slowly we're learning we won't be returning. You can't go home again, you can't go home again. There's no more south or north, the road goes back or forth. Cobwebs beyond any broom, roses that no longer bloom out in a yard we can't maintain. You can't go home again, time takes it right on the chin. It's not a game of toss, you can't reach back across. The future will be obeyed, the choice is already made. So blow a farewell kiss, and though we will reminisce, you can't go home again. Old Thomas Wolfe was right, though we may fight, 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 we can't go home again.